Okay, so what do we think of the ultimate deal that has transpired here for TikTok?
Well, yeah, it's been years, so we're all glad that maybe it's over, but this has got to be the greatest deal ByteDance could possibly have hoped for. This is essentially the deal that ByteDance was pitching to the government under the Biden administration. It's really just only corralling the US user data. They're not selling TikTok itself. Most of TikTok's actual business is staying in ByteDance. This is really the whole idea that the US TikTok has been divested is just not true.
Okay, so there's really no divestiture. It's just, as you said, they're kind of herding around the data and saying,
Right,
okay,
they're
these
putting the
companies,
US right, they're putting the US data entity, which, ByteDance had already created. They're putting that into this joint venture. So that part of it is gonna sort of technically, change, but TikTok itself, the app, the actual, advertising, everything else stays with, ByteDance. So this is a great outcome for ByteDance, and I have to say it's a pretty good outcome for TikTok fans because, you could argue that what, ByteDance was originally proposing was the right way to deal with the concerns about, the Chinese g g government, um, you know, influencing, Americans through TikTok. I think now, Trump has resolved that issue, but we cannot pretend that ByteDance has been forced to divest TikTok as was required by the law.
right? Well, but it's easier to say that part, Martin. I mean, it's
It's
easier to
much
say,
easier.
well,
Yeah,
it's much easier to explain that to people. So,
yeah.
okay, but now tell me about the investors that are involved in this new joint venture deal. I mean, we had Oracle, we had Silver Lake. These are names that were in the mix for a while.
Right, and then there's MGX. Um, and then the original American investors in ByteDance also get a stake in this, and ByteDance retains 19.9%. One of the questions is, what do the investors get out of this entity? What will it actually I mean, presumably, but we don't really understand the economics of this, but presumably ByteDance will pay them some kind of fee so that the US data arm, as it is now, will maybe earn a cut of TikTok's revenue. But that's the only way we can imagine that there'll be any value in being an investor in this arm, other than the fact that you will earn brownie points with Trump, which I think that Oracle and MGX and others probably are all keen on. But it's not clear that there's any real business here.
Okay. And so, two more questions for you. So, tactically, after this deal closes on January 2nd, I guess is the new date,
22nd.
the 22nd, January 22nd. So, I mean, what the app itself, it probably looks pretty similar, right?
Yes, I think that the average TikTok person probably won't notice that anything has ch- changed at all. So
And then just going back to, I mean, there was this whole discussion around the algorithm, right? Who owns the algorithm? You know, whether or not the algorithm is the same or not. So it sounds like that has, I mean, nothing has really changed. The
well, no,
algorithm,
I think this new joint venture has control of, or has some kind of control over the algorithm. I think the idea was that ByteDance was going to license the algorithm to the US. It's really a bit unclear how that will work. Um, but I think Trump can argue that he has fixed the problem of security. I think probably for the most part he has, but it's certainly not the deal that this law that was passed called for, which was TikTok to be completely divested. That's
right?
not happening.
Well, that is quite the ending to this TikTok saga. Although I think we know better than to call this the ending
Yeah,
because I'm sure
it's
a
never
lot.
over.
It's never over. It's the story that keeps giving. So I'm excited to keep talking about it more with you. That is Martin Piers, our co-executive editor here at The Information for this week's Editor's Cut here on TITV.